Every time you seek approval, your worth becomes a hostage to someone else's opinion. And the strange thing is, the more you try to please the world, the more the world ignores you. Life begins to lose its brightness when you live to be seen instead of living to understand. Now imagine just for a moment that all the energy you spend trying to be accepted was redirected into learning, into exploring, into understanding how things truly work. Imagine the power that would have. You'd start to see the hidden beauty in simple things, in sound, in light, in ideas, in people. Because true genius isn't born from the desire to be admired, but from curiosity, that pure restlessness that makes you want to discover why things are the way they are. And when you dive into that curiosity, life starts to flow in a way that no ambition can ever reproduce. The truth is, the pursuit of recognition is a trap disguised as motivation. It pushes you to run faster, to work harder, to achieve more, yet it never lets you rest. It's a bottomless pit. And you know what's at the bottom of that pit? Nothing but emptiness. The emptiness of someone who lived to be remembered instead of living to understand. So listen closely. Living for the love of understanding is the only path that truly sets you free. Because the pleasure of discovering is the reward itself. And the one who learns for the joy of learning never needs applause. Pay attention to me now, because what I'm about to tell you might completely change the way you see life. You've spent far too long trying to be recognized, trying to prove something to others, and without realizing it, you became a prisoner of that need. But let me tell you this, most of the people who seem to be winning are actually losing silently. They collect titles, possessions, praise, yet they lose something invisible, their inner freedom. They live like actors on a stage, playing a role the world wrote for them. But you know the problem? When the curtain falls, there's only silence. And in that silence, the question no one wants to face appears. Why am I doing all this? If your reason is to be recognized, you'll never rest. Because recognition is volatile. It shifts with people's moods, with trends, with the tides. One day they applaud you, the next they forget you. And if your worth depends on that, you're doomed to rise and fall with the world around you. But when you do something for the simple joy of understanding, something inside you changes. Suddenly time moves differently. You stop chasing, and you start being guided by something deeper. Curiosity. Curiosity is the engine of life. It turns boredom into discovery, pain into learning, chaos into meaning. When you follow that energy, you no longer need recognition, because the pursuit itself becomes fulfilling. It's the joy of understanding what lies behind things, of seeing how everything connects. That is true power. When you learn for the love of comprehension, the entire world opens before you. You stop being an actor, and you become the author. And for the first time, life starts to make sense. But to reach that point, you must do something few ever dare. Stop trying to be someone, and start trying to understand something. The difference seems small, but it's enormous. The first path enslaves you, the second one sets you free. Pay attention to me now, because I want to take you to a place where very few have the courage to look. People think freedom means being able to do whatever they want, but that's just the reflection of modern ignorance. True freedom is being able to think whatever you want, to doubt what you've been taught, and to allow yourself not to know. A mind that seeks recognition is enslaved by certainty. A mind that seeks understanding is free to explore. Do you want to know what truly destroys genius? The need to appear intelligent. The person who tries to look smart for others will never be truly intelligent, because they're focused on displaying, not discovering. Genius is born the moment you abandon the desire to be special and embrace the joy of uncovering the obvious. Think about it. Everything you know was once obvious to someone who had the courage to look closely. The difference between the mediocre and the brilliant doesn't lie in talent. It lies in genuine curiosity. The mediocre wants to be right. The brilliant wants to learn, even if it means stripping away their own vanity. And here's the irony. The more you care about what others think, the less you actually think for yourself. A curious mind is like a child taking apart a toy just to see what's inside. It doesn't crave status. It doesn't want applause. It wants the mystery. It wants the why. And that's what keeps the inner fire alive. The sincere desire to understand the world before the world understands you. Life becomes light when you realize you don't need to impress anyone. You begin to do things for the simple pleasure of seeing what happens. And strangely enough, that's when everything starts to work. When you stop chasing results, the results begin to chase you. Because the universe responds to genuine curiosity, not to empty ambition. The secret isn't to be recognized, it's to be so deeply immersed in the process that recognition becomes irrelevant. The reward lies in the very act of understanding. And those who live that way exist in a state of freedom that money and status could never buy. Now imagine something uncomfortable yet necessary. What if most of human suffering didn't come from lack, but from excess? The excess of wanting, proving, showing. The world taught you that ambition is a virtue, but forgot to warn you that blind ambition is poison. You run, you exhaust yourself, you achieve, and when you finally arrive where you always wanted to be, you realize there's no one there, not even you. People confuse purpose with performance. They crave meaning, yet spend their days trying to win a race they never chose to run. They long for freedom, yet choose paths that chain them. The pursuit of status, applause, validation. And the worst part? They believe they're evolving, when in truth, they're only moving further away from themselves. Let me tell you something few have the courage to face. Success without understanding is just another form of failure. Because if you don't understand what you're doing, success becomes an accident. And accidents don't set you free. They enslave you. When you act only for the result becomes your master. But when you act for the love of understanding, you are in control, and life begins to flow again. There is no purer pleasure than the pleasure of truly understanding. When you truly understand, there's no need to compete. There's no envy, no rush, no comparison. There's only a curious silence, that rare moment when everything makes sense for just a few seconds, and you feel part of something far greater than ambition itself. The problem is most people want to understand the world, but they don't want to understand themselves. They crave answers but can't stand questions. And that's why they live tired, anxious, and empty. Because they try to fill what is spiritual with what is material. They try to buy, conquer, or prove what can only be understood. Life is not a podium. It's a laboratory. You're not here to win. You're here to discover. And when you understand that, you realize the whole game changes. It stops being a competition and becomes an investigation. Every mistake becomes a clue. Every failure, a new hypothesis. And that's how you begin to free yourself. Not by winning, but by understanding. When a human being finally lets go of the need for recognition, something extraordinary happens. They are reborn. The mind becomes light. The heart becomes quiet. And for the first time, they begin to taste real freedom. Suddenly, fear disappears. The fear of failing, of being judged, of not being enough. Because now, none of that matters. You no longer live to prove. You live to experience. And in that moment, life starts to align with who you truly are. Opportunities appear. Ideas flow. The right people come closer. Because you stopped being a copy begging for acceptance and become an authentic source of energy and creation. Authenticity has a power the modern world has forgotten. When you are real, the entire universe seems to recognize you in a way applause never could. Life begins to conspire in your favor, because at last you're playing the right game, the game of growing from within. And everything that once seemed difficult begins to happen naturally, because when your focus shifts from appearing to understanding, you connect to the natural flow of things. You don't force, you simply are. Do you want to know what true peace feels like? It's waking up one day and realizing you don't need to impress anyone, that you are enough simply for being here, learning, failing, trying to understand. And from that moment on, every gesture, every word, every small discovery starts to have meaning. You begin to see beauty where you once saw routine. You begin to see purpose where you once saw haste. Lightness is born when vanity dies. And the pleasure of discovery becomes greater than any achievement. Life flows, not because you control it, but because you understand it. And once you understand, you no longer need to run. You realize that what truly matters is not what others think of you, but what the universe reveals when you finally choose to listen. Now write this in the comments. With conviction, I choose the freedom of understanding. This phrase will begin to reprogram your subconscious. reminding your mind every day of what truly matters. From today on, make yourself a promise. Live for the love of understanding, not for ambition. Stop chasing recognition and start seeking meaning. That is the key that changes everything. If this message touched you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell because what's coming next will expand your mind even more. And remember, to understand is to be free, and the one who becomes free inspires the world, without needing to say a single